Hello there. We are underway in celebrating our first year anniversary. And if you don't already know about it, I'm hosting a raffle and giving away more than $2,000 worth in cash and prizes. So if you or a friend have access to an Apple product, you can enter to win. For the complete details, go to sayyesToYourSoulPodcast.com. All right, here we go with another soulful episode. And this is one of the ways that I can contribute to that. And I know that you have a contribution to make as well. So start thinking about it. What might be your genius journey? Right? So not just what it is you do, not how you razzle-dazzle people, but what is the journey that you take them on? Hello, I'm Tessa Lynne Alburn. Welcome to the Say Yes to Your Soul podcast, where we empower women to connect with their souls and shine in their business. If you are ready to embrace your brilliance, create meaningful connections, and be compensated for your specific gifts, you're in the right place. Join us as we explore inspiring stories, practical insights, unique points of view, and soulful strategies, all to help you thrive. So let's dive on into this transformative journey together. Tune in and say yes to your soul. Hello there. Today, I'd like to share with you some insights and details on what I consider to be one of the foundational pieces to any type of healing or coaching business, where you're helping people to change from the inside out. So this could include, let's say, if you were a naturopath who also coaches, or a chiropractor who also does like the resetting of beliefs, or a weight trainer that works with mindset and principles to keep people motivated for doing the work, then you too might benefit from a signature system. On the other hand, if your business is something where you're providing a known, tangible item that it's obvious what it is, such as something a retailer would sell, like blouses, for example, you probably don't need a signature system. You just need good blouses. And you need differentiators so people understand, what kind of blouses you have. And maybe you have a company mission that aligns with something eco fabrics and eco dyes, that sort of thing. There are a number of things that you would need to know that are similar to coaches and healers. But for anyone who's in the business of selling transformation, a process, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, career-based, or relational or relationship transformation, a signature system can be very beneficial. And if I've forgotten a particular kind of expertise, please forgive me for that. A couple of years ago, I'd been doing some coaching with some coaches who have different strategies than I do. And I wanted some fresh perspectives and this, that, and the other, and I wanted to be challenged a little bit. And what happened was I started to go in a little too far into their system and into the way that they do things in terms of their systems. And in doing that, I lost sight of my own signature system. Now, it wasn't terrible because I have many tools and experiences and things that I could rely on to help my clients achieve their goals. But what I found was that I was spending a lot of time working on the messaging and redoing it. And I wound up wasting a lot of time, energy, and resources when I was attempting to adopt these strategies that weren't including my signature system. They weren't taking that into account. And so I have returned to the signature system, and it really gives a beautiful foundation for everything that I do. And this is true also for my clients. And even though I have many frameworks for content and for processes, even the frameworks and the models and the processes work better when they're connected to the signature system. They seem to make more sense to people. So today, I'd like to share with you what the signature system is and the benefits of it. So you may have heard about signature systems here and there, and you're kind of like, yeah, maybe I know what that is, maybe I don't, or maybe you've done a little bit of a dive into signature systems. So either way, whether it's your first time hearing about it or the 8th time, it's okay, because I'm going to give you some unique perspectives here today. One of the things that can really detract from a coaching or healing or transformational business is without a system, if we don't have it, we run the risk of being perceived just as any old coach. Oh, they're just a life coach, right? There's like not a big differentiator there. And so there's nothing much distinguishing us. And at the worst, we're seen as a one-off session type of self-care professional, like massage, for example. But you can't equate getting your nails done or your neck rubbed as the same kind of exchange that you're doing as a coach or a healer. And for a coach or healer, one-off sessions just don't create a sustainable business, because both professions require inner change and not just something on the surface. And inner change takes time, dedication, and persistence. Now, if you're someone who maybe you're a psychic channeler or something like that, and so you're kind of in this funny little zone, you could have a signature system that will totally make your business rock even more. But you could also just go along and have people doing one-off sessions, and a lot of psychics that I know enjoy that. But if you want to change things up and you want to have repeat clients who are excited about what you're doing, or maybe you wind up certifying them at some point in what it is that you do, a signature system is the way to get that going. So I want you to start thinking about a signature system. And if you already have one, this might inspire you to dive in a little deeper or to give it another zhuzh, refresh it a little bit. So the way that I think about them is that they are the Shiro's journey. They're the journey that your clients go on when they work with you. And so it's not the tools, it's not the practices, it's not that you have certain qualifications. It's the specific journey that you take them on to help them meet their goals and dreams. Now, if they're just working with you, say, for a handful of sessions, you can still use a little bit of the signature system and kind of give them a taste of it. But when you really start to get into it, you're going to want to do, say, like 6-month programs or year-long programs when it comes to private coaching. You could do a group program based around your signature system. Maybe you do however many stages you have for your system, you do that many months in your group program. I think doing it week by week is a little too fast for any process. So I would pick maybe a couple steps or just one step or stage to then flesh that out. Now, in a year-long program, you can do an entire signature system. Within 6 months, you might get to all parts of it, or 7 months, right? So depending on the progress of the person you're working with, that will dictate exactly when you complete the signature system. However, so one of the things I do, I have a 7-step signature system, and I can run that in a year-long private program. And that gives a lot of buffer zone to the steps that are going to require more than a month, because there are some. Some of them just require a lot more attention and a lot more fleshing out of ideas, maybe research even. So a year is a perfect amount of time for my 7-step signature system. Now, I've seen some signature systems out there that don't go super deep, so they could probably run those in 6 months even, or 7 at the most. What happens as you're in the signature system with your clients? There is a cohesion to it, that things make sense to the clients, and they also make more sense to you. It's easier to track on people's progress because it's step by step. The client builds on what they're learning, and they're integrating it, and they're taking action on that integration in their lives. So when it comes to the Shero's journey, I want you to define your specific cycle of transformation. I think a good number of steps or stages is 4 to 7. If you've got 10, it becomes really wieldy and hard to track on things and hard to separate them. I know I've tried that. If it's fewer than 4, it doesn't feel like a journey. So there's something probably missing. So you want to look at somewhere in the zone of 4 to 7 stages or steps. You can also think of your signature system like the cycle of transformation. You know, I think the Hoffman Institute Foundation calls theirs the cycle of transformation. But I want to share a little bit of a really wonderful cycle of transformation, which is the one that Joseph Campbell uncovered. Basically did a lot of research, and he was an amazing writer, and he dove into mythology and like the psychology behind it and Jungian principles and all these other things. And one of his most famous books was called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. And I remember reading it and just having my mind just like opened a lot because of the depth of what happens on the journey. He called it the hero's journey, and he identified an extensive 17 steps. And he was really interested in like the deeper psychology of things, like I said. So we don't need to go that far, thankfully, but we do want to understand what the journey is. And if we were just to look at his 17 steps, there are some key stages to it. So he's got steps and stages. The beginning of the journey is the departure. And there are 5 steps in the departure. The first one is the call to adventure. That sounds pretty cool, right? Call to adventure. Love that. I found this really inspiring. And I'm going to just share quickly. I'm not going to share all the steps with you, but the second one I really like because it's the refusal of the call. Right? So somebody gets that big call, in their heart or in their soul, and they're like, yeah, I could go do that thing. And they're like, no, this is way too hard. Forget about it. And we see this all the time. Like, that just makes me laugh. I see it all the time in the coaching industry with serious self-sabotage and avoidance patterns like crazy. Anyway, the hero is resisting the call, right? And so then you got to keep going. You got to do the other steps. And so you get to steps 6 through 11 in his example. And this is called the initiation stage, where there's all kinds of trials and tests and things that need to be healed, almost like taking inventories, and atonement with the Father is one of them. And this is where the person basically does a lot of growing up. The last stage that Joseph Campbell has is the return, and he has steps 12 through 17 there. You can look this up. I'm sure it's online at a million places. There are things like the magic flight and rescue from without, and the master of 2 worlds. Like, this is really cool stuff, right? The freedom to live. These are just wonderful. And we know if we look at something like Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's got this all throughout it. There's just so much juicy stuff. And basically any movie worth its ticket price is going to have at least a big piece of the hero's journey in there. So there's a lot of juicy stuff within each of the stages of the journey. Now, like I said, for you, for your business, you don't want 17 steps. You want 4 to 7, and that's enough. And what happens is within each of the steps, however many you have, you just go deeper into it. So you can really teach some mad skills. You can really bust some false ideas, the myths that people are living by, the false beliefs, and really help them establish new habits without sending them to New Zealand to go through a gauntlet of angry, mountain people. So if you were a mythic coach or a therapist, yes, and you had a 3-year program that somehow was miraculously selling, you could take Campbell's Hero's Journey and bake it right on into your business. But that is probably quite daunting, and signing people up for something like that would really be monumental at best. So let's take a look at some of the benefits of having a 4 to 7 step signature system for your business. The first thing is that a signature system creates clarity for the client. This is something that can show up in the way that you message, the way that you build your landing pages, the way that you have initial intake conversations with potential clients, and it helps them to feel more secure. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they tend to have greater confidence in what it is that you do. So if you can briefly describe the journey, it prepares them also a little bit better psychologically. So they know they're not just coming for crisis, counseling, or crisis fix me, or crisis coach me, or crisis heal me. Instead, they get the point that, okay, this is going to take some time. There's going to be some ups and downs, some hills and valleys. And they just sort of subconsciously start to get in line with that idea. I think why it helps so much is because when people first come to us and they want support, I'm talking about people who haven't done a lot of healing or a lot of coaching yet. They only know what they know, right? Well, even for advanced people, we only know what we know until we know something else. And the journey helps bring other things to the surface that they will also need to know. It alerts them, oh, there's this whole thing I didn't even know about that I'm going to need to put some time and energy behind. And your system is the solution to it. Isn't that amazing? So your system shows the problem and the solution. So you're going to imbue greater confidence in potential clients. Plus, when you're working with them over time, they right away, they start to have a sense of looking forward to something, and they have an understanding of what it is that they're dealing with right now. They get that they're not in the wrong place. They're in the process because the process is clear. There is a process, and they're learning and they're accomplishing with a greater context. So homework assignments, for example, make more sense, and skills building makes more sense because it's all unfolding in a order, and all these things come together and fit together nicely. So it feels and is an integrated process. The signature system gives both them and you a roadmap, and they're going to get where they're going. It's like, if you took somebody and you said, we're going to go on a trip, and you had them in a car for 20 hours, they'd be like, where are we going? Where are we going? What is going on, right? They need to know, people need to know where they're going. And that's one of the things that signature systems help with. The system also helps with streamlining, which in another way is really about focusing, right? So it helps focus their efforts. So it maximizes time and energy and resources. So when you create your system, you choose based on what it is you take them through. Some of it's going to be a little bit about what you do, but most of it is what is happening in their inner world, right? So when you describe your signature system, it's not about telling them what you're going to do to them. You want to tell them and paint the picture of what they will be learning, what they will be overcoming, what they will be solving with your system, or your system helps them solve it. So it helps you also focus on what's really important so the client can reach their goals. I think it's really helpful for tracking client progress. It keeps you from going down rabbit holes, and it also keeps you from spending hours and hours and weeks on creating content that doesn't go anywhere. The signature system can also help your clients have more satisfaction because they're getting consistent outcomes. And then when they've completed something, they know it. It's like, oh, I did that now. Now I'm moving on to the next thing. And it feels really good. If you're moving too quickly in a signature system, as a little side note, then people can get a sense of, I'm not good enough. So you want to make sure they're getting some element of each step or stage that feels good to them, so they feel they have accomplished something, even if there's more to learn, because there usually is. There's always more levels, but we want to create success for the client and keep them moving so they can have their results. They're feeling, usually, like when this is happening, they're like motivated, there's an energy, they're pretty happy, they're looking forward to their sessions, they're having ideas, like stuff is really getting exciting and interesting, and they know that they're moving toward something. It's cool because it's all about your unique approach. You've decided what the system is, and what will happen is that you start to have brand recognition for it. Right? And with brand recognition comes loyalty, happy clients, people come back. They're like, oh, you want to go over there to Tessa for signature systems, for example, right? So whatever you want to be known for, you want that in there. Another thing that happens with the signature system is that psychologically people perceive that what you do has greater value because there's a system. So it adds to your bottom line. Just by having the signature system, you'll be able to probably move up the amount of your offers when you have a signature system, because it creates so much certainty and confidence that people are like, oh, this feels good. This is like everything that I need in this right now. And I'm not saying you want to be a one-stop shop, but your system is going to be comprehensive unto itself for its purpose. I actually penciled out a whole bunch of other benefits. I won't be able to get through all of these today. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to do a follow-up podcast on this, follow-up episode. But I think the last thing I want to mention today is that if you're someone who's been in business for a while, or you have really big dreams and goals, and you know you're going to be scaling your business up and you want to sell it, having that signature system will help you make more money when you sell it, because it is trainable. Other people can learn your system, which is really cool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. And, I do these solo episodes every 4 or 5 episodes. And what I can do is I'm going to give you some examples of signature systems the next time we meet. And we're going to talk about some other things around signature systems to kind of fuel the flames. And in the meantime, I want you to start to really look at what it is you're doing. Not the things you do to people, but the things you take people through. What is the journey that your clients need? What do they need help with? What helps them get started? What's that middle world like? What are some of the beliefs? Like, what is the process for helping them shift beliefs? What are the processes to help them learn new skills. So start thinking about what your journey is and see if you can start to identify some of those steps. P.S. When you figure out what some of your steps are, you start to have more confidence yourself in what it is you provide. So the last thing I want to leave you with is that the signature system, it takes on this life of its own. And I found over the years, I've been doing this for more than 20 years, it helps me to stay the course when things are changing, when the world is wacky and questions come up and people are changing in ways that I'm like, how does my system now serve them? And how do I want to modify it in their new consciousness? And it helps me to continue to stay connected to my purpose and my contribution and play the long game. This is, for me, the biggest part of the game of life, which is about bringing consciousness where there isn't any or where consciousness is limited. And I'm dedicated to that. I love learning and growth, and I love seeing the light go on in other people, in their eyes. And so having my signature system keeps me energized because I know I'm on track and I don't get lost in all the chaos out there. And I can always come back to this and know that I've got a core body of work that will make a difference. It's proven to have made a difference, and that has helped me to stay in coaching and in healing for more than 20 years. And that has helped me help people break old paradigms of poverty, lack, worthlessness, and not good enoughness. And I really believe that it is time for women to succeed. And this is one of the ways that I can contribute to that. And I know that you have a contribution to make as well. So start thinking about it. What might be your genius journey? Right? So not just what it is you do, not how you razzle-dazzle people, but what is the journey that you take them on? And as you take them on the journey, there will be a tipping point from darkness into light, whatever that is for them. And we need that. The world needs it. And the world wants you to show up as a leader in your business, helping others with clarity and continuing to do so. All right. Thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you and your dedication to what you're here to do. And I will see you the next time. Bye-bye for now. All right. Thank you for joining us for this week's delicious episode. Before you jump off, I wanted to remind you to get entered in the raffle this month because I'm giving away more than $2,000 worth of prizes in both private sessions and actual cash. What are those prizes, you ask? Well, one of them is a private 75-minute soul light healing session with me. And that can be healing on various levels. It might be releasing trauma or tuning up your body or your emotions or clearing things like past lives and karma that's been, energetic debris holding you back. This session can be very helpful and sometimes have dramatic results in relationships, money, and in your health. And we're going to do that together on Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you live. The second prize is a 60-minute coaching session with me, and that's also going to be on Zoom. So if you want support or clarity for your goals, like help with getting started with a project or just creating an action plan, that is going to be an amazing session. You'll be surprised at how much you come away with. The third prize is a personalized meditation that I will design especially for you. And of course, it's going to be yours to keep. So it's going to be fully personalized in terms of the content, and I will be speaking just to you so that you will be able to resonate with it and receive the maximum benefits that you want to create. Okay, now for the fun stuff, the cash. I have several cash prizes in various amounts. I've got several $50 prizes, $75 prizes, and $100 prizes. So you can see there are many opportunities to win here, and I just want to encourage you to be sure to play because you do need to play to win. All monetary prizes will be delivered through PayPal or Wise, and if you have a different currency, it'll be automatically converted for you. So as long as you have access to an Apple device, you can play. And all the instructions are available on our website at sayyes2yoursoulpodcast.com. That's sayyes2yoursoulpodcast.com. And if you need any support in completing your raffle entry, my team is ready to help you with that. You'll find their email on our webpage as well. So that's it. All the best to you, and may you say yes to your soul.